hello, and welcome once again. J76NY here. Welcome back to Rizia. We are into turn number 3 now. Last episode we had the meeting, the Wezek Rizian Friendship Day celebration, which turned into a massacre. Someone planted a bomb. Victor Smolak's trying to finger us. We're trying to deny it. Investigation is ongoing. It's going to be interesting to see what they come up with. Hopefully they don't actually discover this was the Suzerain group. And our ties with the Suzerain group may come into the attention of a few people that we'd rather not have on our bad side. But if one of those is Victor Smolak, I could care less. I hate the guy. I did order up another military unit to be trained, just in case. This episode, we're going to be meeting with our sister-in-law, Queen Beatric Livingstone of Rumburg. She might not be happy with us because we are trading booze with Swordland. They don't like Swordland. If you've watched the last 2 seasons of this game that I've done, you'll know that. My last season ended up with President Rain and his chief military advisor, Joseph Lancia, holed up in a bunker getting gunned down by Rumburgian troops. So, Rumburg and Swordland are not friends. That's a long-standing thing. But we married into the family, so he may be a little more open with us as to our choices, or she may demand that we cease and desist, which I will not do, because I've got to make my own way, and I am king. She is a queen, but she's a queen of Rumburg. I'm a king of Rizia. What I say goes. Anyway, Resned City Restoration finishes. We did partake in a project of restoration of, I'll read this here. Restoration efforts at the ancient Resned city center of Topaz have been complete, with hundreds of facades renewed and old roads being brought to the surface again. The concrete that was used to cheaply plaster over decaying ancient infrastructure has been removed, displaying the city to the public as it once was. Several ancient excavation sites around the city have also opened, with many of them expected to draw tourists from all over Rizia and Mercopia. So we're going to be attracting the history buffs and the archaeologists of our particular corner of the world, and hopefully add that to what we're going to make off of the Swordish luxury resort that's going to be opening soon. These include an ancient villa as well as a horse racing track and an aqueduct. Several other archaeological sites are still being excavated and are expected to gradually open in years to come. Cool. So let's see what Queen Bee wants. I can get the map to go up there. Here we go. Vina, Estella, and I sat in Palace Resna's most ornate room, waiting the arrival of Queen Beatric Livingstone. An informal supper with my sister-in-law was scheduled for the evening, but for now, the protocol for an official diplomatic visit had to be observed. Pavel came in through the stateroom door. He took a deep breath. Announcing Her Majesty Beatric Livingstone, Queen of the Four Corners of Mercopa, Defender of Castle Zarsborough, Conqueror of the Tranquil Sea, Stout Protector of the Ancient Lands of Rum, Descendant of the Most Honorable King Edward I, and the Ruler of Rumburg. He stepped aside and Queen Beatric entered. She was wearing an emerald green gown that matched her tiara. Vina, Estella, and I rose to greet the Queen. Kiss her hand. I took my sister-in-law's hand and kissed it. She looked me up and down. What a pleasure it is to see you, Your Majesty. We barely had the chance to speak at the coronation. And my dear niece. She turned towards Vina. Why, you're looking more and more like your mother every day. I hope your father's proud of the lady you've become. She's as stubborn as her mother was, that's for sure. I am, and I know Lena would have been too. Vina beamed. It's lovely to see you, Aunt B. Beatrice embraced her tightly before moving on to my mother. Two women gave each other air kisses, then stood back and eyed each other. Air kisses, huh? Queen Beatrice. Queen Mother Estella. She tilted her face upward and gave a short sniff. Palace looks as magnificent as always, but I fear a chat with your housekeeper may be in order. Every time I visit, it smells just the faintest bit like trash. Mother feigned a puzzled look. Is that so, Your Excellency? Funny, I don't seem to detect an unpleasant draft of hot air. But only since you walked in. I do seem to... Oh... The old bags are trading barbs. Let's be civil, ladies. We have important state issues to discuss. Please look into these matters at once. The air quality in the palace may be compromised. Let's just pretend nothing's wrong here. If you excuse me, I shall take my leave. I have a terribly urgent appointment on the other side of the palace. By all means, Your Highness. Our chatter is far more boring than the sort of carousing you're used to. Vina, why don't you run along as well? We'll catch up over supper. Vina reluctantly nodded. Sure, Aunt B. Have the staff give my room a ring when you're done. I'll see you two out. Just a moment. Pavel walked Beatrice and myself over to a pair of velvet armchairs. Next to them was a table upon which a towering silver Rumburgian tea urn had been set up. He filled 2 porcelain cups for us, then escorted Vina and my mother out the door. Beatrice motioned for her own attendants to wait outside. We settled into our seats. Queen Mother Estella may have a common upbringing, but she's part of the royal family. Please respect her as such. I'm just going to sip my tea. I took a sip of the Rumburgian tea. Lena had loved its earthy taste, but I never quite got used to it. I'm not a big fan of stuff that tastes like dirt, as I made clear to the swords before we traded their dirt-tasting liquor. Queen Beatrice extended her little finger and took a sip from her own cup. She smiled approvingly. Just like home. My compliments to your butler. Now, how are you faring a year into your reign? Wow, it's been a year already? I know you had quite a scare in Zeal. I was never scared. Rizians weren't the target, after all. Yes, Mother and I were lucky to get out with our lives. I'm less scared by what happened than by the ramifications of it. I have good security and everything's under control. I hope you had nothing to do with it. I'm going to go with number 3, because that's the truest to my own thoughts. And that's the correct manner of thinking. Thanks for your approval. Needless to say, Rumburg has been monitoring the fallout of the incident with great concern. So you came all the way to Porte Drezon to express your concern. How does what happened affect you? And your concern is much appreciated. Aside from my worries about your personal safety, I foresee a scenario where Whelan uses this tragedy to its own gain. In Whelan, amassing more power is not in either of our interests, correct, Your Majesty? Not as long as they have our land. No, we've got to be careful not to stir the pot further. If they try, they will face consequences. I only want peace with Whelan. This is my personal choice. This one would be the more diplomatic choice. But I don't like Victor Smolak. So there we go. And it looks like I picked the right choice. Beatrice leaned forward and held my gaze. Of course, we are the same age, Your Majesty, but I've worn my crown for many years longer than yours. and I and my country are far more experienced at dealing with the Republic of Whelan than their backers in the CSP. Sending your own investigators to ferret out the bombing culprit is a good start. It shows President Smolak you are unwilling to play by his terms. But how do you plan to follow that up? What will you do if Mr. Smolak fails to relinquish his hold on Zeal? That's not really your concern, sis. I don't believe that for a second. If it comes down to it, I'm prepared to fight. True, but I'm not going to say that. I know Rumburg has its own agenda when it comes to Whelan. Riza's path will be different. Geez. We will exercise diplomacy until an agreement is reached. I don't want to break too much with Queen Bee up there. Rumburg is a powerhouse. We kind of want them still in our corner. This is a lie. Well, I mean, we will. If I'm given that option. We'll try that first. Diplomacy first, then guns. It sounds simply wonderful, Your Majesty, until you arrive at the bargaining table and realize your pockets are empty. What the hell's that supposed to mean? To that end, Rumburg is prepared to provide assistance with the delicate situation in which you found yourself. I'm already funding a Rizian cultural organization in Zeal. That should get locals on my side. You've helped us out so much over the years. I would not ask more of you. Do go on, Queen Beatric. Thought this was a family visit, Your Excellency. Can we save the politics for another time? You've helped us out, I guess. So there we go. You don't need to ask. Our nations are bound by our shared love for my sister. Such a relationship goes beyond mere transactions. You looked at me with what seemed like genuine compassion. Here's what I suggest, Your Majesty. As you well know, Rumburg is currently a major importer of Wezek oil. If we were to significantly reduce our imports, the final financial pressure, and thus your leverage over Whelan, would be considerable. How much oil are you importing from Whelan? I thought you hated Whelan, but you're buying their oil. You deprive your own people of energy just to help Rizia? I don't need leverage over Whelan. I thought you hated Whelan. Don't look so shocked. It's a partnership of convenience. But in fact, my advisors and I have been speaking about forging new energy partnerships. And as it happens, Rizia is about to come into possession of quite a bit of natural gas, correct? Yes, we're discovering a new field. It's very exciting. We don't know yet. Our scientists are still figuring out the details. At least some of it belongs to Pales. There. We'll go with that one. I see. Very interesting. I was about to propose that Rumburg purchase Rizian energy in lieu of Wezek oil. We enrich your country and assist you with your Whelan problem in one fell swoop. Yeah. Sounds good to me. What kind of timeline? I can't guarantee that we'll be able to access that gas field. I promise you access to the gas from that field and you'll stop purchasing oil from Whelan. I like the sound of it. Kind of timeline. We can cut off our orders of Wezek oil immediately, as long as you grant us a small amount of energy up front to add to our stockpile. We then give you a 1-year grace period to make the transition, after which, I warn you, our needs will be quite substantial. Would we have to replace all the oil you've been purchasing? What about only part of it? So you believe Whelan can't find another customer? This is a serious promise. What happens if I can't keep up my end of the guarantee? Good question. We'll have to find a more reliable trading partner, for energy as well as other materials. And I will be most displeased. But how would Rizian gas even reach Rumburg from here? I'm quite sure some of the same ships that carry out our gold trade can be retrofitted to transport natural gas in its liquefied form. Of course, an immediate modernization of your Monkeys port would be required to handle the excess shipping traffic. Uh-oh. It can be arranged, but it's going to cost me a lot. Hang on. See if I can get rid of this for a second. I guess I can't. Crap. I don't know if I want to promise her anything or not. Shit. I wonder what I just got myself into here. I don't want to piss her off and say that, but... Alright. Even if you don't ship us gas, getting that port into tip-top shape would make our gold trade more efficient. Would we... So you don't believe Whelan can find another customer? Believe it or not, Victor Smolak has managed to alienate Whelan from most of its neighbors. I know our partners in Grace would surely follow suit and cut their own ties. Would we have to replace all the oil you've been purchasing? What about only part of it? Rumburg would prefer to eliminate its energy dependence on Whelan entirely. But of course, we wouldn't want Rizia to make any overly rash promises. So yes, a partial embargo on our end is possible. Okay. And what do you think of the deal? And here I get to choose. I love it. You buy less oil from Whelan and we'll make up the difference with natural gas and other energy sources. I can't promise you anything right now, Your Excellency, but I'll keep your offer in mind as Rizia expands its energy horizons. I don't see it. So it borders from gushing to neutral to outright denial. I'll keep your offer in mind as Rizia expands its energy horizons. Very well, Your Majesty. Of course, we'd appreciate any help stoking our hungry furnaces. Moving on to equally important matters. How are the princess's marriage plans coming along? Why, is your eldest son single? I hope that's not the direction they want me to go. I am not marrying my daughter off to her cousin. I'm on the lookout for candidates. Someone from one of our royal houses, perhaps. Very good. As you recall, I promised my Bradley to the Duchess of Tomsfort to secure the loyalty of our country's northwest region. We royals are an endangered breed, you know. We've got to tend to our lineages as we would a rose garden. You're not. The garden of House Taurus shall remain in bloom for a long time. I like that. With the help of House Livingston, it shall bloom on only the richest of soil. I like that too. And don't forget that the rest of Grace is invested in the Taurus line of succession as well. Rizia is one of its linchpin nations after all. Of course. Our fellow monarchies want to see a stable Rizia, especially after the summit at which we all promised closer cooperation. Believe me, I want to see a stable Rizia as well. Rumburg will do its best to aid you. You rose to leave. I shall see you at supper, Your Majesty. Queen gave the door a swift knock. Her attendants opened it, bowing as they did so. She paused. Congratulations on your recent trade deal, by the way, although I wouldn't trust the swords any further than I could throw them. She walked out with her gown trailing behind her. Alright, well that was okay, I guess. Now I can see how much this, how much this port's gonna cost me here. Or start selling shit pretty quick. Monkey's Port and Naval Shipyard expansion. -3 on the budget. I don't have the budget to do it, so gotta make some money here. Do I need 3? I have 1. I guess I could wait till the next turn. How much is this gonna cost? That's 5. Small third global, medium initial global energy sale. -3 on the energy, +2 on the budget. I'm gonna do it. Yo. Then I'm gonna do this. That'll drop us -1 energy per turn. So we won't be gaining any energy. Oh shit. Well, we have a surplus. I mean, we'll still have a surplus. Alright. We'll do it. Long term, I think that's going to be more of a benefit to us. Medium second energy sale. Can't really do that. Alright. Lots to do here. Swedish magnate Marcel Caranti checks in on resort consortium production. In Monkeys, acting Duke Hubertus Taurus welcomed Heart of Swordland co-owner Marcel Caranti for a visit to the still under construction Caranti Resorts Valenquois. Business magnate expressed his approval at the resort's progress and his eager anticipation of its opening. Volgish Heritage Week allowed to proceed in Fort Ailes. The Pales Administrative District was once more allowed to organize its annual Volgish Heritage Week, a festival celebrating the region's history as part of the Volgos Empire. Accompanied by controversy since the Rizian reconquest and resettlement of the district, it was especially contentious this year due to the events of Friendship Day in Zeal, which sparked security concerns. However, the week seems to have proceeded peacefully, with only a few clashes between local Rizians and those of Volgish Palesian heritage. Damn, there's a lot to do here. Oh, what's this? Family visit to Isza. Rizian investigators dispatched to Zeal. Under the authorization of the King and War and Security Counselor Lucida Azaro, a team of investigators has been dispatched to Zeal to uncover more information about the recent Friendship Day attack. Whelan has been informed about the presence of Rizian investigators and promises full cooperation. Good to know. Swedish businessman Walter Tusk goes on holiday in Valenquois, wine country. Tusk is another kind of douchebag. The Cantavaro Vineyards in Qualis welcomed Swedish oligarch Walter Tusk and his family, who spent a night in the winemaker's luxury villa before continuing on a short tour of Valencois wine country. Tusk confided that his newfound interest in the region was inspired by the recent availability of Rizian wine in Swordland. Spend your money, Tusk. Got some news to look at. Today, the Treasury announced that a significant sum has been allocated to expanding the Monkeys Harbor. 3 new docks are to be constructed, and an expansion of the shipyards is planned to boost local ship construction. The additional capacity for shipping is urgently needed and has been welcomed by an array of companies and foreign trading partners, as the current port is unable to keep up with the ever-growing Rizian industry's needs. Small military component has also been included in the plans, including limited coastal defenses to protect the expanding harbor, as well as conversion of the old obsolete docks into a mooring place for Rizian naval forces. In an effort to increase the income of the state, the Treasury has announced that it's exploring the possibility of selling off part of the gas surplus to interested global partners. Might not be such a good idea, seeing as we may be under some sort of unspoken obligation to give all that to Rumburg, or sell all that to Rumburg. I guess we'll find out. During the press announcement, it was especially stressed that only surplus will get sold in order not to endanger Rizia's domestic supply. Beneficial deal will be sought that still ensures Rizia's domestic supply remains secure. CSP's investment in Namibia achieved poverty reduction milestone. Excuse me. The CSP's investment strategy in Namibia is bearing fruit, significantly alleviating poverty in a nation poised for a renaissance under the leadership of Atner Ladevac. The democratically elected leader's bold promise to eradicate poverty within 8 years mirrors the CSP's commitment to economic development as a diplomatic tool. Amid the simmering tensions of regional conflict, the CSP's investment in Namibia is not only a humanitarian effort, but also a strategic endeavor to cultivate a reliable ally, ensuring stability and support in a critical geopolitical nexus. Okay. That's it. Family visit to Isza. After months of promise and schedule conflicts, Vina and I were finally on our way to visit my cousin Rico at his palace in Isza. City's main road was straight and possibly wide, a relic of Markian times when the city was a major trading center. I waved out the car window to the crowds of citizens lining the road. Up ahead loomed the domed library of the university. I noticed most of the people who'd come out to see us were native Rizian, even on the streets of city's Wesek quarter, Little Rockaloits. Vina suddenly tapped me on the shoulder. "Father, look over there." In front of the university library, a construction crew was hastily pulling a sheet over a large object. We don't have time to stop. Let's just get to Rico's. I want to see what's under that sheet. We came to a halt. My guards exited the car and ordered the workers to remove the sheet. Beneath it was one of the statues I'd commissioned of my father, King Valero. His head had been chopped off. Oh. It's only my father they're mad at, not you or me. Looks like the good people of Izia are exercising their freedom of expression. How could Rico have allowed this? Like Duchess Cesaro said, he's in over his head. She unconsciously put a hand to her own neck. You think Rico wanted us to see this? I think he probably didn't, seeing they were trying to hide it. He's trying to crack down on crime here, isn't he? What better excuse than sedition against the royal family? You're as perceptive as your mother was. You can't keep vandals from defacing royal statues before the king's visit. He doesn't deserve my support. Either way, this is a disgrace. Order must be brought to Isza one way or another. This is bigger than just Isza. The anti-monarchist foreign powers are out to get us. Good theory, girl. It's like your mother. Hugo's meeting us here, too, right? Why do you think they wanted us here so badly? The invitation coming so soon after the Zeal incident is no coincidence. I have my guesses. We'll see if they're right. To see something like these statues, I'd wager, give us an inkling of the pressure Rico is under. I can't even remember the last time Cousin Rico and I properly spoke. We were children, maybe. We rode on until we reached Palace Suzerain. Under Rico's stewardship, a formidable-looking iron gate had been constructed around the otherwise tranquil palace complex. His security led us through to the Duke's residence, a blindingly white building with the flags of Rizia and House Taurus hanging from every window. We walked up to the door. As soon as the guards opened them, a pair of long-nosed Rizian hunting dogs raced towards us, barking. Easy there, puppies. Bella, Bruno, sit. That's Rico, my cousin. Alright, at least we have the same eye color. Starting to notice, like, everyone else seems to have different colored eyes than I do. Maybe I'm not really a Taurus. Both dogs promptly sat at attention, still as statues. I heard the sounds of boots on tiles. My cousin Rico approached. He was wearing an olive green tweed jacket and a flat cap. He gave me a quick bow of acknowledgement, then knelt and kissed Vina's hand. I was struck by his transformation from a gawky, insecure teen to a broad-shouldered, preternaturally confident young man. Welcome, my cousins. It's been far too long. You're looking sporty. I wish we were seeing each other under more pleasant circumstances. Greetings, Your Grace. I trust Father informed you of today's plans. We leave for the woods in an hour. Wait, what? Hugo appeared from behind his son, a sheepish look on his face. Your first hunt as king. I wanted it to be a surprise. Let's go shoot something. I appreciate it, but I was hoping the four of us could have a serious conversation. Well, we'll have plenty of chances for that. 9/10 of the sport is waiting, after all. Not when you have this. He turned around and showed us the K-74 automatic rifle strapped to his back. Hugo turned up his nose disapprovingly. Isn't that cheating? Kinda. Boars are speedy bastards. You'd be surprised, Your Highness. He smiled rakishly at my daughter, who is also your cousin. Take care. Remember that. We have outfits prepared for you for the two of you, and your choice of weapons, of course. I want a good old-fashioned rifle. Hugo smirked at his son. See, boy, there are still real gentlemen in this world. I do wish I'd known about these plans. I've never so much as held a gun before. Come now, I'll teach you. It'll be great fun. Inside, Vina and I quickly refreshed ourselves and changed into the hunting garb that had been laid out for us. We stepped out to find two waiting jeeps. We're not going to let the children ride together and catch up. I would like to have some words with my cousin. Rico nodded. An aide held the door open and we hopped into the first car. East of the palace, the landscape quickly turned hilly and green. We were entering the Brennus Forest Estate, a private hunting ground reserved for nobility only. I turned away from the window to see my cousin smiling at me. I wanted to thank you for your understanding, Your Majesty. I know the Wessex are pressuring you to denounce Suomina. You very wisely saw their witch hunt for what it was. False flag, if I ever saw one. Whelan obviously planned the bombing. Not going to claim that. What choice did I have? Members of our house must stand by each other. Or I could ask them if they had something to do with it. Protecting myself as well. Did support Suomina. I, for the most part, still do. Nonetheless, I appreciate it, especially since the organization is entirely innocent in this matter. They're upstanding citizens. I don't know if I'd go that far. Clearly a ruse planned by the Wessex, or I'm not sure I believe that. None of these choices are good. I don't know if I want to go with that one. Can't imagine they'd stoop. I have been saying that I don't think that group would partake in activities like that, so the upstanding citizen thing might be a little much, but whatever. He glanced at me conspiratorially. We'll let you in on a secret, though. Just prior to the incident, we were about to activate a branch of Suomina and Zil. To what end? That would have been an idiotic thing to do without the king's permission. What do you mean, activate? Hope you're not planning on going through with that. What end? Region is teeming with Rizian loyalists anyway. All they need is a spark. Molak was never going to hand Zeal over on a silver platter. We'll only get back what's ours if we put the screws to it. Of course, anyone we sent up there would have to operate in total secrecy, but wouldn't it be fun to mess with the Wizzigs? I already have one pro-Rizian organization active in the deal. I don't need two. What do you mean by mess with? Nothing as extreme as the bombing, mind you. We just spread the word about the benevolence of King Romas. With or without some light coercion. I don't like that. More people should be aware of my benevolence. Not like you. I don't need brute force to accomplish my goals. Tempting proposition, but I wouldn't want you to put you or your organization at risk. Okay. That should be the least of your worries. We know how to protect ourselves. You don't have to get your hands dirty, cousin. Just say the word if you want our assistance. I'll just nod. Rico grinned. Crown has much to gain from this arrangement, Majesty. And not only in zeal. We kept driving. The woods around us were growing denser. How are you faring as Duke of Isza? Be honest. Rico eagerly turned back towards me. Sure you've been kept abreast of the situation here, Your Majesty. The drugs, the violence, the open resistance against our government. Headless statues, there we go. You weren't supposed to see those. I've heard that in times of emergency, police from the Rizian Central Forces can be placed under individual leaders' direct command. I've petitioned your War and Security Counselor for just such a transfer, but she refused. She made a mistake. Brent's police cannot... using your family connections to go over... Should be cooperating with the greater province of... Oh, mean with the Saisons? Snorted. They can't be counted on to cooperate. If anything, they're actively plotting against us. I'll send you the petition when we are both back at home. I trust you to do what's best for our city. We pulled off the road and continued some distance on a dirt path that wound through the pines. We came to a halt at the mouth of a grassy clearing with gentle sloping sides. Hunting blinds lined its perimeter. It greatly resembled a gigantic serving vessel. At last, enough politics talk. We disembarked and Rico eagerly unlatched the back of our jeep. Bella and Bruno hopped out and started sniffing the air. Caught the scent already, my dears. Must be dozens of boars out there. The other car pulled up next to us and Hugo and Vina got out. So you see, Your Highness, knowing how to aim and fire a gun correctly is as useful a royal skill as knowing how to hold a salad fork. Keep at it, Hugo. You'll make a huntress out of my daughter yet. Trust you two enjoyed the car ride. It's always a pleasure to get to know the princess better. He waved his son over. But I've bored you enough, Your Highness. I believe Rico is going to show you the ropes. I would be delighted to if the king permits. He extended his hand to my daughter. It's up to you, Vina, I guess. Yes, I'd love to. We didn't even get a chance to speak at the coronation. Vina took Rico's hand. With a smile, he picked up their guns and walked over to one of the blinds, dogs in tow. Hugo shrugged. Two of us it is, Your Majesty. An assistant handed me my rifle, a Rizian-made Dator 56. It was more awkward to hold than I expected. My son may aim for quantity, but men like us know quality is key. He locked it and loaded his own Dator rifle. Its stock had a golden boss bull on it. We climbed up into the hunting blind opposite Vina and Rico's position. Now we play the waiting game. There was a long stretch of silence, punctuated only by the chirping of birds and the occasional bark of Bella and Bruno in the distance. I may not like Rico's hunting methods, but his dogs are second to none. They drive the boars out in no time. Why were you so keen that he and Vina go off together? I can't help but thinking you and he had an ulterior motive for inviting us here. Rico's a shrewd kid, takes after his father. Hey, you're too kind. He calmly aimed his rifle towards the glade. So you'll consider him as a marriage prospect for your daughter. My God, they're cousins, for fuck's sake. There we go. Once removed. It doesn't matter. They've still got the same blood. They're cousins. What are Her Highness's other options? A rival house? A foreign prince? Anyone other than Rico would dilute our family blood and loosen our grip on the throne. They're cousins. May have a point, but it's still Vina's decision. Let's see how they get along today before we start making wedding arrangements. The right alliance can make us more powerful than blood alone. And the wrong ones will doom us to history's dustbin. Well, maybe I'll marry her off to her other cousin. What the fuck? As your uncle and your advisor, this is my advice. You may follow or disregard it as you choose. Just then, we heard a rustling sound coming from the woods. Bella and Bruno had found their quarry. A group of boars raced into the clearing, the dogs nipping at their heels. Working in tandem, they forced their prey into the lowest part of the glade. Looking through my gun sight, I fixed my crosshairs on the group. Misintentionally? Why would I do that? Bang! I struggled to keep the gun steady at first as it fired. The shot went wide and the boars scattered in all directions. Been too long, has it? Allow me. In one swift motion, he aimed and fired his rifle. The largest of the boars fell to the ground. As we turned away to reload, I heard a series of rapid-fire bangs coming from Rico's direction. Looked back out the blind to see the ground littered with dead boars. Not very sporting, if you ask me. At least he hit him. By the end of the hunt, I had 0 kills. Hugo had 6, and Rico had racked up a dozen. He and my daughter were deep in conversation as they climbed down from behind their blind. Liza this, Liza that. I'm telling you, if the Whelan Civil War had happened while grandmother was still in power, she wouldn't have set out the welcome mat. No, Liza would have honored Rizia and Whelan's long history of cooperation and shown compassion for those who suffered. You naive little girl. Everyone in Mercopa wants what we Rizians have. The Wezek saw a chance to get it, and they jumped on it. He flung his gun on the ground in frustration. I'm afraid your daughter didn't shoot a damn thing on today's hunt, Your Majesty. She was too busy distracting me with her nonsense opinions. Ooh, I don't think a marriage is going to happen. There we go. Vina's your intellectual superior in every way, you twit. Apologize now. You did good for all of us there. Congrats on the machine gun hunt. He seemed to collect himself for a moment, then smirked. Thank you. I wish I could say the same to you. Oh, you dick. I should have gone with a twit one, if I known that was what he was going to say. Rico and Hugo posed for photographs next to the boars they'd killed. The assistants began packing everything away. We'll eat well tonight. The chef at Palace Suzerain does an excellent braised boar with wine sauce. Rico, Vina, why don't you two ride ahead and notify the kitchen staff? His Majesty and I will be right behind you. Vina gave me a pleading look. Why don't you go with your son, Hugo? I'll accompany the princess. Hugo raised an eyebrow. As you wish. Come along, Rico. Vina silently thanked me as Rico and Hugo departed. We climbed into the second jeep and headed back to the palace. Dinner that night was indeed delicious. Quick. Friendly, overwhelming military. Oh, I just got to click on them to... Whelan. See, neutral. We're not friends anymore. Nordland, that's what I'm looking for. Friendly. Okay. Alright. Vogsland. Unfriendly. Magnolia. Neutral. Alright, good enough. What do we have here? Situations. Omina allied to the crown. Their actions are confrontational against Wezek, Jurdians, and Morellians. Okay. Looks like we got 2 major events here. Royal visit to the Scarlet Kingdom Kingbird Festival. I'm going to do this right now. Duke Rico Torres of Isza has requested the transfer of additional police forces to his direct control to crack down on the recent upswing in crime. No. Alright, well, we got some type of Kingbird Festival to go to. Next episode here. Let's read the United Quintana's SSS monitors geopolitical's Kiao office. In a move that has sent ripples through international journalism circles, the State Security Service of United Quintana has commenced surveilling on geopolitical's Kiao office. The scrutiny, publicly denounced by Assistant Secretary Iotaki, betrays fractures with the Quintanan government, with the decision by Chairman Malian to drawing fire for its implications on press freedom. This act of state oversight signals an ominous trend in United Quintana treatment of the press, raising alarm bells about media liberties and transparency within the nation. Alrighty. Okay, there's the gas field expansion. It's under construction, it says. Where would... There it is, right there. Alright. Not a bad episode. We spent some time with various aspects of our family. I think it went pretty good with Queen Bee. Not really a big fan of my cousin, though. He's kind of a twit. I should have gone with that one. Anyway, if you like the episode, hit the like button. If you have any thoughts, tips, or advice, leave those in the comment section below. Hope you guys are enjoying the series. Game is particularly fun for being 99.9% reading, and I'm really enjoying it. Hope you are too. If you would like to enjoy it with the rest of us, hit the subscribe, and we will see you for our next episode. J76NY saying thank you very much for watching, and have yourself a very good day.